would have had more of an
So
impact.
this is what it is. You just hit on it. This is one of the only movies I've ever watched where I wanted it to be longer.
Welcome to Fresh Out. I'm JC.
And I'm Cude.
And we're fresh out of Heretic. Heretic follows two Mormon missionaries played by Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East on their mission to spread the good word in hopes that they might convert others to their religion. This mission leads them to a skeptical Englishman played by Hugh Grant who has them questioning their beliefs and their safety.
Heretic.
Heretic.
Is this a horror movie?
That's a good question. It's A24, right? So I think that sheds a little bit of light. But after watching it, I would say it's more of a thriller. I think you could see it either way. When we think of horror, do we think of I'm getting scared, jump scares? It's creating, this environment.
When you think of horror, you think of like Smile 2 style movie.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why I was just doing that. But Smile 2, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's an imaginary
doing
movie
it too.
that we reviewed.
You just bent the two.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good look.
Come on.
Okay. So Heretic is definitely not a horror movie.
Yeah.
It is definitely a psychological thriller, which is spearheaded by Hugh Grant being one of the most lovable, most understanding, and nice psychopaths ever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I was going to say. Psychotic.
I know. You're getting real creative. Psychosomatic.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you there, right? It's his ability to kind of lead you into this story thinking, if you hadn't seen the trailer, you just think, oh, this is just like polite Englishman who wants to learn more about,
He's so
Mormons
charming, dude.
So charming. And like the whole time, like, there's a little bit of doubt, but for the most part, you're like, this seems like a genuinely nice guy.
No. So no spoilers in this review, but there is definitely doubt upon them coming to the door.
Oh yeah.
There is doubt because he's a little too inviting.
Yes.
Especially when somebody sees Jehovah's Witness or something come up to their door, they're like, I'm not gonna answer it. Hide in the back. Hide in the basement, right? He's just like, it takes him a little too long to get to the door for one. But once he finally gets to the door, it's kind of like, wait, hold up. This guy's really nice.
He doesn't get a lot of visitors, maybe.
Yeah, this guy's really nice. I don't know.
Or maybe he does and they never come out. I don't know.
But things progress, and the two ladies, the Mormons, they go into the house, and then that's when the movie starts. Once he has them in the house, they're in the house. There ain't no leaving the house. And so now they have to go through his whole spiel of what he wants to roll out. And that's what the movie is.
Yeah.
It's him rolling out his idea of belief and non-belief.
In a belief system.
Yeah.
One that's centered around something that's not tangible.
Exactly.
And just to give a little bit of background about the film, the directors, right? It's Brian Woods and Scott Beck. They also they did the screenplay for the Quiet Place movies, and there was a movie kind of recently, The Boogeyman in 2023.
The Boogeyman.
And Sophie Thatcher, I believe, was in that as well.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So that's kind of where
he's
that
using the
connection
same
came
actor.
from. Yeah,
cool.
which is
I like when directors do that.
I do too.
Yeah, they use the same actors
say,
so
hey,
they can work with them.
Here, let's bring you over here. Yeah.
That's how it should work.
It should be like that.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
So the reason I brought that up is to show, hey, with those Quiet Place movies and even that Boogeyman movie, suspense builders, right? Things where you're kind of creating this environment and then you're saying, okay, proceed with caution because we don't really know what we're up against. And I think that's essentially what they're doing here. They have this guy, you're going into his house, and he is challenging belief systems as a whole, and you're wondering, okay, what do you believe in, right?
Yeah, I think it really doesn't matter what you believe in to him either because he's challenging like everything. Everything. It's not even like... It's good. We're not going into spoilers or anything.
Sure, yeah. That's a good call.
So, the acting, spot on. Hugh Grant One of his
Hugh
best
Grant.
roles. One of his best roles I've ever
Man,
seen.
I'm trying to think of the
Because
last.
he's not usually a villain.
No.
So he was a villain
Rarely
in
has he been a
he was a villain in Dungeons and Dragons, which is a
True.
9 out of 10 movie.
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons is a
It's
good one.
really good.
Yep.
Sleeper. It was a sleeper.
Oh, I know.
It was
Flew under
such
the
a sleeper.
radar. I
Oh
was
my god, I would
surprised,
love to get
yeah.
a sequel to that.
Yeah.
So he was a villain in that, but he was also still like his
Pretty
charming, lovable
charismatic.
self. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But this movie takes that character and actually makes him like a psychopath.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? And like, oh, it's good, dude. It's good. The
Yeah.
acting in this movie is spot on, dude.
I would say when I give my
From all of them.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. For Sophie Thatcher, Chloe East as well. We see a
Yeah.
little bit of Topher Grace, but we wish.
Nah, a
we
little
should've-
bit is three words,
literally,
three
like,
lines.
yeah, dude. I'm,
Yeah, no.
Man, I wish they would have showed him more. I wish he would have had more of an
So
impact.
this is what it is. You just hit on it. This is one of the only movies I've ever watched where I wanted it to be longer.
Oh yeah.
I wanted this movie to be longer.
I totally agree.
It was an hour and 50 minutes, and I was like, yo, I would have actually sat through a 2 hour and 30-minute movie of this if they would have just went a little bit deeper.
Yes.
Maybe put Venom in there a little bit.
Venom, that's what
Put OG
if
Venom.
Foreman would have been in
Yeah,
it a little bit more, you know.
Exactly. So if he would have been in there a little bit more, you know what I mean, and then kind of like done things, but you made a good point. With Topher Grace's character, I feel like the whole audience expected him to do a certain thing,
Yeah.
and he didn't.
Yeah.
And that's A24 for you.
That's true. Actually,
You know what I mean?
I bet that was
So,
intentional because
Yeah,
they're
it was
like,
definitely intentional.
this is a name you recognize, an actor you recognize. We're gonna
Yeah.
bring him in, but then
For a small little
we'll
thing.
see if he has an impact or not.
Yeah.
And we're not definitely not.
He
shooting
definitely had
spoilers,
no impact
but
at all.
It's not
in the
spoiling it to
storyline
say
or
like
anything.
it's tough. His impact is like
Nothing. Negligible. He did nothing.
yeah.
And so I was kind of bummed out when we walked out of this movie. I was talking to JC in the parking deck, and I was like, you know what? I was kind of bummed out that they didn't go the stereotypical way that I wanted them to go. That's the only spoiler we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But like, it didn't go the stereotypical way that I wanted it to go, which I would have thought would have been more entertaining and more. And JC made a good point, and he was like, you know what? I feel like that's why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're expecting to happen. And then would you have been like satiated? Maybe.
It's
But
tough to
would your
say.
thirst would have actually been quenched? Would you have had those electrolytes to quench that thirst? Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because
I don't know.
I like it. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We always try to guess naturally. I think everybody does.
Oh, yeah,
We're watching a movie.
We're
and we
talking
go,
the whole movie. We're just like
whispering, being like, this is what's
yeah.
gonna happen, blah blah blah. And if you actually guessed what was gonna happen, there's probably a little bit of like pride in yourself to be like, I called it. But then at the end, you're like, that was too obvious, right? Because you give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
But if it's too obvious, then it might seem like the right ending, but it's not gonna catch you off guard the way that this ending does.
And you're gonna remember something that is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, am I really gonna remember a movie that just follows all the checkpoints down a list? Probably
and I
not.
think like we talked about the acting a little bit, but I think it's like there was essentially 2 or 3 settings within one big setting, I guess you could say. And man, the
big
fact-
setting being the house.
the house, right?
Because
and
the
I feel like-
house is the setting of the movie.
The house is the
Once they
setting.
get to that house, it's a wrap.
and we won't say anything else about the house.
Yeah. Once they
But-
get to the house,
Yeah,
the
they're-
house
they're
is the
in.
rest of the movie.
Yeah, but having Hugh Grant as kind of that guiding light into like, first he's inviting you in, then you're starting to question if you should be there because he seems a little sketchy. Yeah. Then you're like, oh, I need to get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
And for him to be able to take you through that and also be captivating and just he's just walking around talking for like.
I would not have
half of the
trusted him
film.
at all during this movie.
No.
But watching it is just kind of like, I wouldn't have done it still. I wouldn't have done anything that happened in this movie. But he's just so damn lovable, dude.
Yeah.
He's just so lovable,
And
dude.
to your point, you're like, I would have gotten out of there. And these Mormon missionaries, they're just being too kind.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because that's in their nature. They're trying to see the best in
he's
people.
playing with that.
And he's playing
because he knows they are
he knows
so nice
that they want
and
to
trusting.
they want to really be able to convert him
Yeah,
into their belief system. So like he's pushing back slowly. He's take an inch, take a mile.
Yep.
He's just continuing to push those boundaries.
Exactly, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think overall, right, when we look at this film, and we don't want to spoil it, so I think we've said most of the things we need to say about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The acting is very good. So the only gripe that I have about this movie, and this is not a spoiler because some people are going to like this, I did not like the ending. I was not a fan of the ending, how they ended it. Whatever they chose, I'm pretty sure they had multiple cuts of the ending and they chose this one. They chose the ending that they chose. I'll accept it. I just think that it could have been a cooler ending, but they would have had to add 30 minutes to the movie. For it to like wrap up in a different way than it did, they'd have to add 30 minutes to the movie, and I would have graciously sat there for 30 more minutes.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes movies are too long. Most of the time, movies are too long.
Most of the time they are, for sure.
This movie was too short.
It was.
And it was 2 hours. It was 1 hour and 50 minutes, but this movie was too short.
The interesting thing, too, is, like, the entire first half of the movie, they're not in a hurry for anything, and it's just this, like, very back and forth conversation, suspense
which is
building.
great.
And
the
it was
dialogue
amazing.
and everything is
Dialogue,
great in
the
this.
responses, the subtleties,
it's so good.
The Easter eggs. They're like, here's the things, like, here are the signs that you ignored, the red flags. And even he's calling out, like, hey, I know you noticed these red flags, like, and you just decided to believe that I'm a good guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
No, it's so good. And another thing I just thought about was the horror in this movie. If you want to call this a horror movie, there were horror elements, but they were done so well in terms of framing of the camera. Like some of these scary moments come from items that don't do anything. Or don't move. They don't do. You're just like, whoa, this is kind of creepy.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's so true.
And that's the horror of it.
I didn't really think about that. Yeah, there was a lot of like items involved.
Yeah, items just around where it was just like, yo, I'm kind of getting goose pimples right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, this movie is not a horror movie, but the tenseness of it and some horror elements of it do put it in a scarier category than there was probably one jump scare the whole movie, and it was a slow jump scare. It wasn't even fast. It was a slow pan, and it was not. I said something like, whoa, just because I'm animated.
No, of course,
But like,
there's a couple shocking moments, but not ones that are really scary. There's more just like shocking for the plot.
Yeah, right. Where you're just like,
oh, I didn't know that was
or I didn't know.
That's
the total opposite thing.
Well, I guess he knows everything and I don't know anything.
But on a rating scale, I think you're going this time.
You want to go? Okay, I'll go this time. I'll go this time. All right.
On a rating.
So
out of 10.
Yeah. So the ending for me, I kind of got it. Like there was, and I was talking to you about that a little bit of like how I interpreted it. But you know, it's one of those ones where I'm like, I can see it both ways. That's where it kind of evened out for me. The acting, Hugh Grant, just absolutely just killed it.
So good.
Best performance I've seen from him in a while.
It's so good.
Like because it's so different. So I think, and even from the actresses as well.
He's like a tense niceness.
Like
he's so nice, but still the tenseness is underneath it.
That's why, because it's like so unnerving to see like
and
how well he can like.
It stays for the whole. It's not like I'm nice in the first 10 minutes and now I'm evil. It's the whole movie. He's nice.
He is.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Because that makes it even creepier.
Yeah, dude.
So that said, I'm just gonna go. I was bordering. It's going to be a high score. My score is going to be an 8. So it was bordering a 9, but I'm going to give it an 8.
8 is great. 8 out of 10 is great. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to have to agree with you on that 8 score.
There we go.
This is an 8. This is a great movie. Even though this movie is so good that even though I do not like the ending, I still give it an 8 because it is like everything about this movie, like how it's shot is nice. The pacing of it is perfect.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
pacing of this
The
movie is
pacing
perfect.
was great. Yeah.
Right?
That's a really good point.
I wanted it to elaborate on the story a little more,
Yep.
but with that, they would have had to have a longer runtime. Now, I don't know why they cut out 30, because they definitely cut out 30 minutes of this movie.
You think so?
In the final cut,
Yeah,
they
were
definitely
like,
cut out at least 30 minutes
instead,
of
it was
this
an
movie.
hour 50 minutes, I think, with the runtime.
Yeah,
so maybe it was supposed to be
dude.
220.
Dude, I think Venom's like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Let's not go off
dude.
Venom. I
Well,
mean-
but what I'm saying
No,
is
I know.
like,
That's
there
why
are movies that
A24
don't need to be that long,
Yeah.
too long, and movies like this where you're actually like, yo, go deeper.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
I'm ready to-
that's the beauty of, I think, most A24 movies. They leave
Yeah,
you wanting
dude.
more.
So
you're
this-
not thinking about the time. You're thinking about the experience you're having.
Yes.
Yeah.
I lost track of time. And when
Me
we
too.
were up to the last 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, the movie's going to end in 10 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, whatever they're going to come up with in
And
this
they
last
did
10
rap-
minutes,
they
I don't,
rapped
it was a
quick.
very rapid.
All of a sudden, because
wrap
they had
up.
taken their time with like the build up, which was great, and then it
Yeah.
was just like boom, boom, boom. Here we go. We're
Yeah.
closing out. So I agree. With
But
you there.
this movie was still great, even with those faults that could be a major fault in a movie that didn't have good acting or a good storyline or a good concept. This movie had great concept, a good storyline,
Yeah.
and supreme acting.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
acting in this is so tense. I mean, I was puckering the whole movie, just puckering up, dude. Like
Yeah.
straight up, I couldn't release.
No, honestly, I was
Even
captivated
after all
too.
that buttery popcorn we eat, I could not release, guys. I was so tense.
That's how you know it's a good movie. It's
No, this was good.
messing
This-
with this guy's bowel movement.
yeah, dude. I'm getting older now. Like, the system can't like maintain that fortified wall.
His body could not handle this movie.
Heretic, man. This was a good one. This was
Yeah, it
this
was a
was
good
a this was a good time. I will possibly purchase this if it's
I would say if you
it's
can,
on sale.
you got to watch it
If it's
in
on sale,
theaters.
but you got to watch this in theaters,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's a theater.
Go ahead and get AMC A List.
It's so-
not.
it's so
we're
worth
not
it.
sponsored by them,
No.
but do AMC A List. $25 a month. You can see 12 movies a month, any format, anytime. No
Yeah.
restrictions. $25 a month is better than any subscription fee you will ever have. Just do it. This is not sponsored by them. That's what we use,
Yeah.
and it's just it's great.
If you're going at least
It's a-
once a week, what is that, like $6 per movie? Or
Dude, no. To go see a movie not on Tuesday, it's like 15
Oh
bucks.
no, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying
like
with the
15
A-list,
bucks.
like
With
it
A-list,
averages out to
Yeah,
like
exactly.
something like that.
$3 a movie, maybe,
Yeah,
if you
dude.
watch
And it's
12 movies.
Any format.
Any
right?
format, anytime, dude. This is not
Yeah.
sponsored by them, but
We'll take a sponsorship if they ever want to give one.
well, yeah, definitely that's on the table. But like, you should get something to where you can go to theaters because theaters are dying, and not to make this like cue the Sarah McLachlan in the background and get the sad puppies in here. We just start.
Yeah.
We got to keep theaters alive, man, because
Yes.
we have a dope setup in our studio here. Like we have the Dolby Atmos. We're in a movie theater when we watch movies in here, right?
Yeah.
But it's different with an
It's-
audience. It's
with the
different in
audience,
the theater. Like,
yeah.
it's different in the theater, man. Like, it's a feel that does not need to fade away, and it is progressively fading away exponentially, and we need to stop that. And Heretic is a good reason to why you need to go to the theaters, dude.
Absolutely.
Not to have a long rant.
No,
at the end,
that's not a rant, man.
but
That's
yeah,
that's
dude. We need to keep
that's a
theaters alive,
passionate.
dude.
That's a passionate like.
The mall that we
testament to
the
theater.
mall that we go to is literally has the Spencer's and a Hot Topic left. The only thing that's keeping that mall going is Spencer's Hot Topic and the AMC,
Oh
dude.
man, yeah.
If that mall goes, dude, I do not want to go to Del Amo, dude.
No, well, I think the
Del
AMC
Amo
is gonna.
sucks.
The AMC will keep it alive. Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
dude.
Fingers crossed.
Go to the movies and go see Heretic.
Go see it.
It's out now, starring Hugh Grant
Sophie Thatcher.
and Chloe East.
Yep. Directed by Scott.
Got back.
Yes, and Brian Woods.
There we
There
go.
we
baby.
go.
We're in there.
Thank you.
Fresh
Help me out.
out. I'm Cude.
I'm JC.
Go
Thanks
see
for
the
watching.
movie in theaters, please.
Please.
Sheesh.
Please.
chair.
I
dog.
like this seat because it forces me to like be upright because sometimes I slouch too much. All right, here we go.
Slouching ass.
Heretic.
Always slouching. All right, we're good.
Here it is.